that the sponsors of today's resolution, my Republican colleagues from New York, did not support.
Joining us now is Congressman Nick LaLota. He is one of the New York Republicans who's advocated for Santos's expulsion and pushed yesterday's vote. Congressman, I appreciate your time. And look, to be very clear, that is a New York Democrat who would like a New York Democrat to win your seat next November. However, to Congressman Goldman's point, the idea that this time around, after deciding not to last time around, you wanted to expel, why? Why the change?
Well, I wouldn't say he's as phony as George Santos is, but Dan Goldman's a phony, too. He's a guy who's constantly doing stock trading while he should be a member of Congress focusing on bills. And has yet to denounce the Democrat Socialist of America in his own Manhattan borough. His constituents want him to do that. So I'm really not going to focus much on Mr. Goldman and his phoniness. But I will say that recently, George Santos's treasurer pled guilty to being in a conspiracy with Mr. Santos to defraud donors to ensure that he was elected to the Congress. And that is the new information which has given this resolution to expel Mr. Santos some more thrust. We're pleased to see that 24 of my Republican colleagues supported the resolution to expel Mr. Santos last night. It is a step in the right direction, yet short of the number of votes that we need. We probably need to pick up about 90 more votes, by the way, from both sides of the aisle. 31 Democrats did not vote for the resolution to expel Mr. Santos last night. We have some work to do now between last night's vote and the vote we expect in about 3 weeks after the Ethics Committee submits its report to House members.
The campaign treasurer you're talking about, I believe his name is Thomas Datweiler, that new information did... Sorry, you're shaking your head no?
No, that's Nancy Marks. Nancy Marks is the treasurer who pled guilty to the conspiracy with Santos. She pled guilty probably about 2 or 3 weeks ago during that time that we didn't have a speaker. It was at that time that my colleagues and I put forth the resolution to expel Mr. Santos, and we attached a privilege to it a couple of days ago.
I see what you're saying. I understand. I do want to ask, though, the Daily Beast reported last week that an accountant, Thomas Datweiler, who claimed in January that Santos wrongly listed him as a campaign treasurer, actually did work for the Santos campaign, according to his lawyer. I believe that individual is your campaign treasurer as well as several of your colleagues. What's your response to that?
Yeah, I understand that my treasurer does services for about 100 different members. I haven't confirmed what the Beast reported yet. I'm gonna hold out on commenting that until I'm able to confirm some of that information myself.
I was struck by the letter you and your colleagues wrote pushing for this, making clear that in your view this wasn't a political issue, this was a moral issue. If you view it through that lens, your speaker did not support you, your new speaker did not support you, largely because of the fact you have such a slim majority. Does that concern you?
Well, I'm not sure that was necessarily his reasoning, but 31 Democrats and many Republicans did not support the resolution last night. Many hung their hat on process. Many hung their hat on that we need to see something in writing, either a conviction by a jury, a guilty plea, or in this case, findings from the House Ethics Committee. I expect in 3 weeks many more Republicans and those Democrats to flip their votes to vote yes to expel when they can hang their hat on something. For me, I don't need that. I already know all the facts. I am in Long Island at the epicenter of the George Santos disaster. I understand all the facts, that he defrauded donors, that he lied to voters about everything. His education, his professional background, his association with 9/11. He even claimed that he was Jewish when he wasn't. I understand that lie, that alternate persona that he created was the basis upon which voters and donors relied so they can contribute money to him, so they can vote for him. But for those lies, he would not have been elected to Congress. I understand it all because I live right there. I'm at the center of the George Santos disaster, and I expect in the next few weeks, after that ethics report is finalized and published, that many more of my colleagues will come to the same conclusion that I've come to.
You've got some electoral juice in your area where you live, around there. Are you going to get behind someone in the primary to take his seat?
I'm certain that I will. I'll probably defer to the local Nassau County GOP on who it picks, and I'll probably put a lot of my force behind that candidate to ensure that candidate wins. It's a battleground seat like mine is, and if we perform well in the elections, we can hold the House and we can focus on the things that matter, like our budget, like securing our southern border, like holding this administration accountable. It's important that we hold that seat.
And just one, you've said this, but to close it out, you believe George Santos will be expelled in the coming weeks?
I do believe that because I do believe that the Ethics Committee report, which is expected to be published in the next couple of weeks, will give many of my colleagues from both sides of the aisle something to rely on to cast their vote. It's a serious vote to expel. It's not something that should be taken lightly. It's not something historically that gets done that often. Yeah. And some of my colleagues want to have more to lean on when they vote yes. And yes, I do expect that to happen in a few weeks.
New York Republican Congressman Nick LaLota, we appreciate your time, sir. Thank you very much. Our coverage continues right now.